that tournament once they got there. There is still a lot more work for them to do, as of course the winner of this series will then play IG and eventually T1 if they can get there to even qualify.
I expect that that'll be something that we are looking for from JDG's perspective to try to punish. Scout now having access to that ultimate, and we've got Grubs in 2 minutes.
Should be able to finish this one off with one more auto and the smite. Shun should be able to either recall or
one of these lanes. Shun is covering on mid. This bottom lane, again, Light still hasn't recalled yet. This is really problematic for Weibo's early game.
Well, Shockwave lands on Zhao, who, remember, he doesn't have any flash, and Shun comes in to pick up first blood for JDG. Tian arrives, but it is all too late, as JD Gaming are the ones to strike first jungle duo throughout the entirety of the season. It's been inconsistent at best, but so far they are delivering with the Grubs about to spawn. Weibo actually sending all 5 up here to the top side of the map, and they're going to find out Zhuo, who the Tibbers will land on top of, and one more rocket from Light is going to seal the deal. So an overload for Weibo working for them so far,
Paze?
but now Paze is transcended, but running into a 1v3. Going to be very dangerous for him to enter that position with the Grubs already being started up. Zhaoshu forces Tian to W away with 2 Grubs still remaining, one of them already claimed by the side of Weibo Gaming. The second one will go over to the Cassante, and he's now stuck inside the pit as Zhaohu and Crisp are trying to chase the Jarvan away. And outside of the river, a smite does not exist on either side. It will be a flip for that third and crucial Grub. All out goes in, on to Breathe. We're getting a crazy team fight at 8 minutes into the game. It's going to be the Corki to claim that second Grub, but now Weibo are trapped. They have to try to find some way to escape, but it will not happen for Breathe. Flag and Drag connects, and it'll be 2-1 to JDG to start off this game.
It'll be 2 Grubs going over to Weibo, and you saw that JDG needed to play with hesitation. A great pick.
Making it a 2-0 lead in the Drake department.
See, Weibo used a numbers advantage to get them in position for the Grubs. With Xiaohu no longer anywhere near that play, they're saying, okay.
But it is easy to forget that they did take BLG, the eventual champions, to 5 games, something that only top eSports also were able to do. So interesting things to note, that the peaks of this team certainly are there when you have Paze and Shun and Scout playing at their A game. Some of the important opportunity to position themselves around the Herald.
Brahm's going to use the Unsealed Spellbook Teleport. That is Smite from Tien. Should be up in about 10 seconds. As you can see, it is a rather fast cooldown. Must have had an extra charge. Sion's going to pack up this bottom wave.
Ooh,
oh, wait a minute.
Glacial Fissure into the 2-man Shockwave, and Tien's already down to half HP. Cataclysm comes out, and the Flag and Drag's going to knock up Light, but the Solar Flare will not find its mark, as Tien will be able to survive for now. Light flashes into the pit, and will be in some danger until he has his Valkyrie cooldown available. Doesn't have it yet, and the Rift Herald will be the one to take him down. It's 2-1 in favor of JD Gaming, and they're going to look for even more. Pace dashes forward and will pick himself up a triple kill. It's an absolute wipe for JD in the topside river. They get 4 with Xiaohu on the run.
Oh my god, and they're going to get this turret all for Paze? No, they're going to reset, respect the tempo of their opponents. And you know what? It's not a JDG game if we're not giving gold to Scout here. Herald on top of that, huge win coming in for JDG. Off of what was supposed to be very short timers here, Weibo do not have enough damage to be able to play against their opponents and go over, so probably just signed his own death warrant and lost both of his summoner spells.
Look at that flash from Paze, finding the perfect opportunity to go forward and barely able to survive. Now 3-0-1 on the Yunara. 2 completed items before Light has even finished his second or any completed boots onto the Corki. So big win here for JDG. They're going to try to break open this mid-tier 1 as well. Should be able to do so successfully. Let's see if they go for another charge.
They can. I mean, Dragon's still up. They might be a little bit afraid just because there is a Leona and quite telegraphed as to where you're able to get it. Not a second charge here, but it's not going to be on this wave. It's going to be on this next one that is coming up behind JDG that they're going to look to push. And it's up to them. There's really no reason to go towards topside. It's a really far wave, at least considering where it is on the map. And JDG, they just get to retreat into bottom side. Are Weibo even going to contest? I mean, it's as good as it's going to get. Doesn't matter that your AD carry doesn't have flash, he has Valkyrie. But they have no mid-wave to even hit on the turret here. So there's a single ward that is stopping Weibo from, or stopping JDG from immediately getting spotted, but now there's a control.
And now Paze gets to fire in onto Breathe a little bit as well. The dissonance gonna slow down Crisp, and it's a 5,000 gold lead, remember, and that just means it'll be all too easy for JD Gaming. A 3-man Shockwave already has connected, and the Cataclysm will find 2 more. It is gonna be another wipe in the mid lane as JD Gaming get themselves an ace for 1 with the Dragon on the menu afterwards.
Wow, what is this JDG? This looks calm. This looks decisive. This looks like we are playing to the game strategy that was set up for them from draft. Take control of space and make it difficult for your opponents. I mean, Xiaoshu, hell, him by himself, he is walking forward into this team. Who is going to kill this Cassante at this time? Now JDG at 9.
Just night and day from what we've seen from JD Gaming, especially recently. They can be at this level. Of course, that matchup against Invictus Gaming could get even more interesting, but still a lot more League of Legends to go. As the Otacon has been started up by JD Gaming, Xiaoshu is going to be forced out. And Weibo go for the collapse here. The Unstoppable Onslaught's going to connect, and that is a big shutdown given over to Light. However, it will come at the Otacon going down, with JDG now fighting a 5v4, but with a lot of crucial cooldowns already off in the playoffs. It was Scout who ended up winning the series, but we saw some good stuff from Xiaohu. A pure outclassing, at least at this point, and some serious questions I should say, are going to have to be answered on Weibo's side if this is how the mid lane matchup is going to continue to look. As I say that, Pei's going to be forced to pop the cleanse. Inner angle into the pit. Pei's going to start up the Infernal Dragon. Seems like the rest of JDG should be able to box out Weibo for as long as they would like. But the go button has to be pressed at some point. When will Breathe pop the ulti? It is still Xiaoshu and Shun face tanking to their heart's content. The Dragon's at 5,000 HP. They got to get in there soon, or else the soul will be delivered. All out in for Xiaoshu. In goes the Jarvan, but it will be Tian securing the Dragon and preventing that soul from going over. But the fight is still going to come in with Shun landing that Cataclysm onto 2. But there's not a lot of follow-up just yet. Xiaoshu going to single out Light once more. And everybody on Weibo will drop like flies. Only Crisp remains. As Shun going to be the one to close the gap and feed a kill over to his AD carry. A double for the Unara. And JDG find themselves in the race.
Only a small error there from Xiaoshu. The all-out goes in as soon as Tien tries to use his Warrior Trickster. When he uses his W, it gives him a small iframe, essentially, and that's what stopped JDG from being able to secure this soul outright. They couldn't push Tien out of the pit. He gets in, steals it, but it is a Pyrrhic victory. You are now going to be down 10,000 gold at 26 minutes. It doesn't matter that you stole away the Dragon's soul. You're now going to have a Baron that you're going to have to deal with for the next 2 minutes. And there is no waves for you to be able to really play on. Your jungle camps are going to play on 2 lanes. Let Cassante sit in mid. I think Weibo very smartly know that these outer turrets don't really matter in the grand scheme of the game if they want to try to go late. Let's get an objective bounty for ourselves on the bottom side and get Xiaohu at least a little bit of gold. Maybe he finishes a second item.
But JDG beautifully playing around 2 lanes, having those waves crash at just the exact same time. The inhibitor towers in both mid and top lane under fire, sure to go down. And Weibo once again have to make a pretty tough decision as to where they want to try to have their last stand. The inhibitor tower already taken, the inhibitor in the mid also down. Cleanse onto Pei's, and he just eliminates Xiaohu at the blink of an eye. That is the mid laner for Weibo, already down. Crisp going in. It's already a 4v5 though, and that is not going to be a good sign for the team that's already down 12,000 gold. Tian dashes forward, won't be able to find a single kill with Xiaoshu still standing. Shun flagging Dragon forward, and another ace picked up. Where has this JDG team been all year long? It doesn't matter as they have finally arrived to the regional finals and put up a clinic over Weibo in game 1.
Lot of damage. Weibo have a little bit more mobility. JDG have a bit more point and click, you die. Yeah. A little bit more point and click ability. This is going to be a scrappy game. Coming and going again. We thought, well, Kai'Sa's gone now. She can't 2v2 against the best in the current meta. It could be a gank up here in top side. Tien, he sees her below half HP Renekton. Oh boy, Xiaoshu gets Conqueror, but gets knocked up by the Darkened Blade, and it's very easy for Tien. You had to have the clones again attacked. There we go. Well, Nico is in danger. Needs to get out of there. Good clones follow orders as Shun will flash for Chomp, and Xiaohu will be asking, Xiao, where is my backup? I need some support. Throws out a 2-fold X, but unfortunately for them, always 3 no more, no less, and a flash on forwards. And Scout unleashes the full power. It's not the hyperspace lane, it's probably the different one. Shun going under the turret. Now, does Tien have Shadow? Gotta hope he does, otherwise he may be in danger. A Phantom Shadow may be required here. It's a lot of damage from Scout, goes across the veil. Will get traded back, but nearly. Tien going down for being the biscuit. Problem is for Tien got caught out of the turret, tried to survive under there, clearing out the wave so it wasn't going to waste, but that didn't happen. And again, I'm looking at this mid jungle and I'm going...
In this matchup, of course, I mean, Xiaoshu popping the ultimate now, still a Renekton early game versus the Aatrox, and Xiaoshu is damn good at playing that matchup out.
Gets a lot of value out of the Dominus damage over time as well. Breathe will trade out his own ult. Again, not exactly a shy member on this one. Actually, mid lane, Tien going to throw out the death mark. Scout goes across the veil, trying to buy some time, but it's nicely managed.
It sold a lot of people on the show. A lot of the other ones were like, okay, it's whatever. That one was the special one. Going towards top lane now, 2 growths for JDG. Scout denied some gold in that mid lane, but Scout has forever been the guy that knows how to play around side lanes. This time calling up jungle and AD carry, really wanting to walk up here with the Triforce Trundle to try and force first turret.
It's going down real fast. We've seen this quite a lot over the year. Trundle and an empty turret does a lot of work. Xiaohu now turning up the hook onto him. Oh, Xiaohu! That's a problem. Popos on the other side as Chris tries to buy some space and keep Xiaohu alive, but the pillar comes up and Scout throws out a waiting and a 2-fold hex. And always 2 of them are. No more, no less. Unfortunately for Tien, they're wishing there were a few less because the damage keeps rolling and Shun keeps bonking. He's not got a club, he's got a damn lightsaber. An elegant weapon for a more civilized gank as Breathe, unfortunately, breathes no more.
Weibo just go 1 by 1.
G will move to the bot side of the... If you want to go home and rethink your cast. Scout defending the top side between worlds again, might die for the defense.
Oh, does get to the other side, but there's a pop blossom coming on through. Does do a fair amount of work. Tien takes the turret aggro and Scout goes across the veil. Oh, God. Now light hit for the depth charge. And unfortunately, this was looking pretty dicey for them. Zhu ends up taking a little bit too much damage and Pace needs to leave. 2 failed turret dives on both sides.
Light manages to slip the noose in the mid lane turret. JDG, though, I still think getting the better of things. Defend the top side, Breathe. They are going to catch Pace. That does add a little more to the equation. The Sivir will go down. The Ricochet is not enough. JDG will keep pushing on bot side, and the Triforce Trundle keeps pushing. JDG, a massive macro win.
They lose 2 in trade for just the 1 top side, but they do get the 2 turrets as well. That's pretty big. I would like to see what happened in the mid lane to see exactly how JDG ended up over-egging it a little bit down there.
I'm not going to lie. In the mid lane, from my understanding of that, Draw pops the ultimate, doesn't correctly combo the hook or the passive into the full CC of the Kai'Sa, which allows Light to then ult out. Light didn't even use either of his summoners. That's a big misplay from Draw. Of course, a player that came in to JDG quite late in the season. Dragon will be taken by Shin, Herald traded on the other side. And I suppose going back to the actual meat and potatoes of the stories of this series, JDG have had a torrid year. They've dropped from being a top team in the LPL realistically over the course of last year into this one, really. Of course, they were not world's representatives of last year, despite being... Hang on a second. Potential catch on Tien. Well, doesn't have that ultimate, so we can go back to it. JDG, how many changes they had this year? Well, they changed out everyone but support at first. That's 4. And then
Kai'Sa just gets to glide around, didn't have to blow the flash or the barrier. And Light goes, yeah, that one was a little bit too far, guys.
Well, Draw will find himself... Hang on a second. Xiaoshu is kept out alone on this other side now.
Might be in a dangerous position here. Gets a decent chunk back, but there's the death mark, and Xiaoshu now will be a dead man as the pop comes on through. And Zed secures another.
Record, beat them in both regular seasons. This roster, though, struggling a lot more. Tienka Shadow over the wall. Weibo have made the last 2 worlds, despite their different rosters. This one might be the first in this era of LPL to miss it.
Be something, wouldn't it? Again, not done yet, but Weibo are down 2,000 to 3,000 gold at this point, and Tien is not enjoying being between worlds. Scout, a little bit deep there, survives, and Crisp certainly does not. Breathe, trying to get some decent healing off. He's got a number of members around. He can potentially look to get more value out of with the Darkened Blades. Will not be able to do so as he's forced to flash away.
So it's a 1 for none. Weibo giving up control. Hang on a second, there's a flash on Paze. If we can get in range, close to the edge of that boomerang blade. Paze won't get that kill. Can we stop the recall here?
And Zhuo gonna be forced to flash away as Light came careening on him. Will supercharge her forwards. Passive order should do it.
Help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're our only hope. Well, they're just gonna be late to Atacam then if this happens.
They are. And again, the damage is looking pretty good here. Down to 5,000 HP. They can rush this again. Tien with no flash could still potentially shadow on in here. Very difficult to keep Zeds out of the pit. Is now around. Potential smite fight needs to get there. very damn close, but no, it is JDG that get the correct amount of burst. Breathe now in danger, hit with the Ruthless Predator. The culling of the meat commences. Pop Blossom onto one, flash out from Pace, keeps him alive, and Chris trades his life for it. Now Scout goes between worlds, will blast the Kai'Sa. Xiaohu tries to slide people away with the Emperor's Divide, but again, you can't divide by 0, which is the number of Weibo members remaining.
Weibo don't get the objective. They definitely don't get the fight. And Xiaohu with a 4-man empowered Q midway through the fight gains so much HP and takes so much from the enemy team that the fight is unwinnable against them in the early game. JDG have rolled over that very, very effectively into mid-game leads. JDG, a team which were really struggling to be coherent with their playmaking before. They would often in mid-game just throw themselves into poor engages. You know how Aurora gets a special version of upgraded death cap from
Does
Ornn?
she?
Yeah, she gets like a friendship hat from Ornn pretty much. It's very cute.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Draw Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No! Runs into the I think I need to find the light side of the what's it called?
This is a bad recall from Breathe.
Just hold your breath.
Hang on a second.
Oh, no! Breathe! Not like this! Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, we are here today to celebrate the life and death of Breathe. Take 5 minutes, bring some flowers to the funeral, maybe some petals, which JDG have thoughtfully brought 33 of to this
very
game.
kind of them.
I know.
Mid lane outer turret was taken by Weibo. Hang on a second. They stopped the recall because Xiao thought he was safe over the wall. He's, I don't know, can he teleport in now?
Double funeral.
I mean, Xiaohu might be able to survive through to his next combo. How many
Scouts
people
here
are
as
moving
well.
up to him?
And there's another blast cone. I don't think we're getting to the Hex Gates. Does Shun want to flash with this? That's a really good pillar. Scout goes across the veil. Tien is waiting. Scout! This might be a bit far. It's all a ruse! Trying to bait into Light. Trying to go to the other side as Scout, but bouncing back around. Does eventually fall, but it will cost Light his life. A reminder, Weibo's still trapped in the pit. Xiaohu now turning on up. Will begin to cull the meat. They do lose the Civ here, but the rest of the fight looks ugly as Tien gets over the wall with the Living Shadow and Hex Gates out to safety. That's not actually that bad for Weibo.
Yeah, I like to kill my points with context, you know? And we might kill the Baron with some pointy swords and stuff like that. JDG looking to contest Weibo. They're on desperation. Station's going low.
Oh, gets across there, but that's going to be a take on the Baron. That's well done. The fight after, though, gets dicey. They kill the Trundle. Scout looking to find an angle. Misses the twofold Hex. Good chunk as Xiaohu blows up the Azir. Tien trying to run away. Hexgate. Light goes in with the killer instinct. Gets a couple. He bounces all over them. That's a triple kill of Weibo, right back in it. The gold lead disappeared under the weight of the Acathian rain.
Weibo somehow do it. The light shines brightly as the dark of JDG punished them around the Baron. They didn't see it happen. They didn't have that vision around it, and Weibo burst it. They have the Azir and the Kai'Sa to shred the objective, and suddenly Weibo have a gold lead. The Hex Soul will be denied as well. JDG, what have you done?
That's a 2.7k lead for Light now. How many shutdowns did that man just pick up? Let the brain fade come on in.
It's not something the LCK would tell you. It leads to powers that some may deem unnatural.
I think you'll find this game state as fully playable.
Oh my god, Chris going in.
Oh, that's a good Pop Blossom. Flashes on in. You may fire when ready, but the turnaround comes on through. Depth charges on. Tier 2 secured. Weibo retreat. Nice angle from Chris. Forces the retreat, but not the kill. Scout looking for a weirding twofold Hex combo. Can't quite find it. Xiaohu now running away. We saw the chase onto him the last time. End up going very poorly. Between worlds they go. Goes golden. Buys some time. But to what end? As he just gets blasted.
Oh, Light, now he's caught out alone here. JDG closing the gap.
With Supercharger, buys some time. He's kiting well. Shun coming. The pillar is nasty. Castolix goes golden, but to what end again? It's the statement we keep bringing up because maybe put the barrier, but you've got a Renekton on yourself. Can get it blown up. Tien now walking up with Chris, looking to go for a Deathmark angle. Does avoid the weirding as a result, but he gets an Eclipse Shield burning, but not quite down until Xiaohu culls the meat. Now back onto Breathe they go, and JDG right the ship. Just a prank, guys. Just a prank. Weibo have their hearts broken in the jungle.
Oh, there was a new hope in the last fight, but JDG strike back in episode 5. Weibo can't close things out in the way that they would have liked. JDG even walking towards poor Chris. Doesn't have flash. They won't be able to get enough CC. JDG will take themselves another tower. The respawn's coming through from Xiaohu soon, though.
Fenced out, down to half HP, not that tanky on the Trundle, reminder. Your tankiness is predicated on an ult, and who do you steal stats from in this game, as we were talking about earlier?
And he doesn't have any camps, he doesn't have any, hang on, Breathe is on the flank.
Does get spotted by Duo, depth charge onto him. Xiaoshu in the front line doing his best to slide away from the
JDG.
Oh, Duo gets blasted as the Tangle Barbs land, and they lose the Nautilus.
Breathe still has his ult running, doing some damage, and they're zoning JDG off the objective.
Xiaoshu throws down the Dominus, the Redemption comes on through. Xiaohu, though, had a really nasty angle there with the soldiers, and that means that this dragon is surely Weibo.
The game's gonna go on. The game will go on. 2 dragons for Weibo now, 2 soul chances. So much more quickly. Shun spotted here. Xiaoshu on the other side does have flash. Baron now started by Weibo.
Xiaoshu doesn't have the ult or the Sterax right now. He's burned in the last play. Pays is here, but it's knocked down about a third of his HP. And Chocolate Crisp has to flash. That's unfortunate Hexgate timing. Light looking for an angle. Can't land the Void Seeker onto Pays. On the other side, Breathe trading up with Scout. Breathe is winning that one right now. The wall there. Dangerous work. Light goes in. Invulns the hook with the Zhonya's, but the Boomerang Blade claims his life. Light dead is a lot of the gold. Pays low, healing up off the Grump. They blow up Crisp as well. Xiaohu in danger. Hit by the Dredge Line. Emperor's Divide knocks away 3, but a dice rolls the nat 20 and ensures the death of Xiaohu. Tien throws out some shurikens, but to what end? Where do you go as the pillar comes on through a death mark? But unfortunately this time, the assassin's orders are to commit seppuku. There's nowhere for him to go but the death realm.
Ah, no, it's JDG swinging down the hammer, beheading Weibo. I don't know how you do that with a hammer. It's messy, and this game was too. JDG, through by hook or by crook, will find themselves to the Nexus and take themselves a 2-0 lead in the series. Weibo now will have to reverse sweep to keep hopes of worlds alive.
Unbelievable turn around again. I thought Weibo might have done it this game. Alas for them, their hearts are broken. And in some ways, it's worse than game.
To get on top of the Zeri, that can be very threatening. And Zeri often positions next to walls to then slide over it, which Poppy can then punish. You better know what you're doing here, Weibo. 2025.
Xiaoshu was 0-6 on Ambessa all time, and ain't looking like that's changing anytime soon. Does get a decent chunk onto Breathe, who did flash, ends up being a 1-for-1, but the plate goes over to Weibo.
No, well played by Xiaoshu. Just about makes it through without taking too much damage. Will be able to teleport back up. Loses, I guess he's losing about 4-5 minions, so it's not... It could have been worse, but it's still not fantastic. Dive on the other side now. Defensive teleport from Yorick.
The headbutt, the pulverized Crisp just about survives the Dark and Daggers, but Pays will get a last auto and flash away. Light looking to get some damage back, and actually with Xiaohu coming on down, JDG needs to be a bit careful on the retreat. In September!
Pays, does he have... he needs to be really careful here because he can't just slide over the wall, and that Galio has to come in.
Galio does indeed have to come in. Pays still standing up, firing, gets a kill, slides over. Elegant from Pays and JDG.
The Galio ult comes in, and Xiaohu, my dude, you are going into a 1v2, does have the phase rush and the passive, will get out safe. Pays didn't have flash, and I think that Breathe had a pretty good angle. Xiaoshu now under threat on top side.
Has no flash, got a public execution. The Dream gets knocked up, can't press the R until just now, and really leads to very little indeed. Light tanks a fair amount of the aggro. They're going to try and allow the aggro to reset to allow the kill. It does work, but Crisp goes down. Another kill in the 1v3.
Xiaoshu with the
map is now naught. Well, it's not. It's come to naught so far, but Crisp is looking for grand entrance, and Shun will call the pack to avoid it. Dragon started. Light may need to flap out to safety on the other side. Ingo Scout with a flash. Shield of Durand. Light still free firing though, getting a lot of damage, but Pays returns the favor. Managed to make the lightning crash. Public execution. The hero's entrance requires Weibo to exit shortly, but the damage back is looking good. Light still untouched. Xiaohu managed to get a lot of AoE down. The realm walk forward. Good damage back, and they will kill off at least another one. Get a couple back. Good knock up as Light goes to over the wall. Needs to survive. Pays still free firing. Breathe now in danger. It's a messy fight. Ends up being a wall right there. Takes him over to Gromp rather than over towards the damage to get in range for it. Still has to burn the flash. Does get that kill, but I wonder whether it was a world where he could have managed to pick up Light there as well if he'd gotten across the wall in slightly more elegant fashion. Either way, come back to life. Weibo with 3 grubs, a Rise, and a Yorick to take down first turret there.
Yeah, they have the 3 grubs, as you were saying. Makes it a lot easier. Xiaoshu will be given individual gold down here, though. Does manage to get that, well, that one last plate. Won't get the full 5 plates off the turret. We'll go over to 14 minutes now, so he'll time out. He'll get himself enough to take down the turret all the same. JDG even on gold still.
Okay, he's now in danger as they collapse into mid lane. And they went and threw down the Ghost as well, as trying to find some value. Zeus needs to speed up in there. Over they go, looking at Light with the Hound's pursuit. Mom is summoned, Shun now in danger, turret shot, and Light survives. Now the Rune Prison lands on the Zeus. Public execution is glorious from Xiaoshu, and the dragon is snatched out of the sky. Knock up on the Xiaoshu, but flashing out of the dark procession. Another 3-man shield, and Durant and Baze is still full autoing. So much ammunition in this machine gun. Continue to brap in the backline and breathe. Get smacked.
JDG use all the ammunition available to them. Another taunt scout will die to the turret, but it will be at the cost of Tien falling to a heavy price paid in the mid lane from Weibo as JDG take over the game, will take the mid lane turret, and they'll get themselves well in control of this deciding game, potentially the LPL brawl. And now in the regionals, we are there again. JDG Weibo, a famous matchup here in the LPL. This time at death's door for both teams. Dragon started, flashing in, there goes Bessa.
Sure finds the headbutt pulverizer, and Bessa follows with a public execution. Mom is summoned, Realm Warp's coming on in, they've killed off the Neferi. TM flashes on out, and this is actually looking okay for Weibo. Decent disengage.
Going towards the dragon, and Atakan is spawning in the next 5 seconds. That's a huge win for Weibo. They get the kill on the Smolder, and they stop the smite coming through. Fumble from JDG, they don't get the carries locked down.
Light notably has kept both Flash and Barrier to make this happen.
Drag speed as possible because it gets you towards higher AD. Less AoE, but great single target pace. Wants the mobility to chase down as well. Atakan being flipped. JDG, can they make this work?
Smell an Intercon, it's coming again. It's happened all the time here in the LPL, down to 3,000 HP. Weibo in place. Flash for the shield of Duranton. Dien steals the Intercon! I just can't believe it happens again. The fight afterwards looking decent for a moment, to a double for Pace, a public execution. Mom is summoned, but Pace says absolutely not. Triple kill to the Zeri in trade for the Atakan.
They lose the objective, but win the fight. 3 for none. JDG will summon the Herald and put it into the bot lane inner turret as well. Weibo, they get themselves a bit more scaling, I suppose, from the Atakan, a bit more value from the XP and everything. But I'm getting a little bit worried about these fights and how they are starting to give more and more gold over to the Zeri. Yes, the Smolder will do late game havoc on JD.
More than willing to flip it Atakan, unlike the Baron where you can keep people out of it a lot more easy. It's just hard to do that with Atakan.
Light 226 stacks. That's one more than he needs for that full evolution of the Smolder passive. However, Zeri does have that crazy item core. How much work can Light do on the Smolder? Feels like this is now going to be a battle of who gets the more clean fight in terms of the carries. Going under the turret, Smolder used to clear the wave.
Summoned indeed as wave their option. Jaw taking the turret aggro, does a decent job. That's a decent knock away, but it doesn't matter that much right now. They've killed off the Alistair, but now Xiaoshu's got a little bit split off. Blown up Light, importantly, the Smolder is down.
JDG will need to make sure they're not ejected at the worst time. Crisp doesn't have flash, running the teleport, and this heals on cooldown, so he's not at max value either. Xiaoshu
gets stunned up with the steadfast present. Redemption coming on through keeps him alive, but my days, the Smolder damage.
Yeah, has the death stand side, but no, maybe not. It's just the burn from there going towards the flip.
Gonna be a flip again. 2,000 HP. This would be soul point if they can get it. No. Poppy secured. Flashed under the wall. Pays is dead. Wonderful angle from Tien. This time they die. And Smolder is still untouched. Flap, flap, flap. Growing up to be Smaug in this game. Tien going on forwards does eventually fall to the hero's entrance, but a realm warp forwards. A grand entrance knockup, and JDG capitulate at the dragon fight.
Dragon taken by Weibo, and I wonder what they'll take next. Do that. Hang on a second. Ult miss from Xiaoshu. Very close there. Could have turned things around for a kill onto Xiaohu. I was wondering whether Weibo would go straight towards the Baron. Fight and a half, really, haven't they? This is now within Smolder takeover range. Despite the gold disadvantage, Shun struggling there. Another Q onto him. Struggling on the Neferi this game, realistically. And seals into the back line.
Oh, public execution gets them again. Xiaoshu immediately exhausted. The Dark Procession. Smolder ult as well. And they blast Ambessa. Flash away from Light. He's still going. Wonderful team fighting. Chris with the battle lance forward helps keep Breathe alive. Flashing from Tien. Looking for the buckler. The burn comes on through. They kill another. Pays struggling to find value. Xiaohu flashing. Looking for the overloads. Pays surviving. Gets the kill. The hero's entrance. Knock up only on one. It's a triple kill. Over to the side of the Smolder. Who's picked up the Quadra. Say it with me. Pentakill!
The light at the end of the tunnel is a freight train which hits JDG for 6, 5 for 2 in the fight. Weibo have their comeback. They win the fight. They will get the Baron, and Weibo are back in this game. The Smolder had the 3 items, and JDG just couldn't close down the backline. They couldn't reach the Smolder quickly enough. And Light.
Suddenly you're back to life. Big chunk of it through Pays though. Looking to free fire Lightning Crash, but Mom is summoned again. Oh my god, the damage from Light. He's got a GA. It doesn't matter if he dies. The bird's still coming. Calls the pack. Dies while he is in regen. Scout gets a decent chunk, but will surely fall. You killed the dragon, but you lose every single member to do it. St. George in the grave.
Weibo JDG, the matchup which always brings the entertainment, always goes and gives you a little more than you think it should. Weibo will not go quietly out of World's contention. The light burns strong, a bonfire out of a candle. Weibo will bring us to 4 games.
They had to justify the Smolder over the Zeri. We weren't sure about it. We saw Pays get the 5 kills early, and Light laughs in our faces and leaves JDG as ash and dust in the wind. We go to game 4. Big AoE from Weibo right now with the double divers, the Akali and the Vibe with the bullet time and cannon barrage to back them up. If you are all grouped up to get a Cosmic Radiance...
3 has Flash. Chen is walking down. I don't know if he'll be here in time.
Weird mix of win rates there. 2 and 6 right now on the Pantheon. A takeaway from TM, but the Dazzle comes down and kind of goes a little wide. The crash down is there. Cleanse away from the shield vault. Shun caught under the turret. Pays takes a lot of damage, but doesn't quite go down. They want to try and aggro this one. Overcomes the Vi. Has got a flash and a Q. Goes looking for it. Pays needs to flash in turn. Duo now in danger as the turret shots keep flying. Shun in danger as well, and everyone flashes but survives.
10 very close to picking up a kill with a splash damage of the E. They'll be able waiting for the break in the waves. Kind of like surfing, you know, for those of you who are surfers out there. You can like work your way through the waves, find a break in it to get out. They still don't see him. Tinker go over the wall.
Shattering Strike comes on down as he left. He's gone back to base. Oh no! That's a disaster. The cannon barrage keeps people down. The ignite is enough for Scout to get the kill.
Oh, Tien leaving a split second too early as JD. A lot of this here has been about Scout and Shun being comfortable at the right moments, and I think they've sadly taken turns in not being so, but if they do fix things for this regional qualifiers heading potentially towards Worlds.
Exactly, a comfortable champion, but hey, the early game play has been good so far, and it's necessary, as we said. Shun is such a litmus test for this team. Dragon being taken by JDG, they picked that one up, the Dazzle threatened onto Tien, became a little bit too difficult to manage.
So JDG obviously in a strong position, have the first Dragon, 2 grubs out of the 3, and the early gold lead. What is the hope for them? They have a cannon barrage.
They're going to have the shield vault force crash down away, Light surviving the Dazzle. Awkward flash to get it to work though. Cosmic Radiance on top, Pays mistimes his culling, doesn't get the right angle on it now. The cannon barrage.
Oh!
And the binding is there as the cease and desist, the perfect execution. Breathe has come on down. Oh, we're going to have a parlay. He does get the assist with the cannon barrage, but it's Xiao who picks it up. Pays saw glory in his eyes and missed everything.
It was so close. I mean, he flashes forwards to get the Dazzle stun.
Scaling, but again, you have got Xiaoxu on his jacks. Potential side lane win condition. You've got the double global with the really nasty upfront burst. Here's this kind of potential dive. Xiaohu trying to dive away, but the gold card comes on through, and it's swiftly a red guard kicked from the field of battle. The cannon barrage comes on down, but it is just a 21 cannon salute.
Well, they make Akali into a pirate. They're an ex-Akali. That marks the spot where they go and plunder their gold in the side lane.
They press the R, but
they press the R buttons and the Carly goes down. First turret of the game for Jingdong Gaming.
Hey, I'm going to leave the Bristolian accent aside.
There is, for what are now back and available. They're delayed enough for that. Do Weibo commit to the fight? It's Gangplank alone on top side, using that trial by fire to take down the turret.
May just give it up, to be honest. That needed. Tien is around, can look for a steal, all the while Xiaoxu stepping on forward, might get the counter strike. Barrel comes on down. We'll need a potential cleanse as the Grandmasters might pop. Dragon on the field as well, looking pretty good. Speeding away from Breathe, who's in danger. Flashes out. In comes the Redemption. Blows up the Pantheon. Bullet time. Finding the Cosmic Radiance on, but it might be too little too late. It's a counter barrage after the cease and desist. This is the combo we were worried about. The double up follows in. The Shuriken flip. Light picks up a double. And Weibo unleash hell on the side of JDG. Xiaoxu gets a good grasp here. Will hop out of range of the turret. Barrel clears the wave, and Weibo get Dragon and the fight.
The B in Weibo stands for Bilgewater. And it comes from the Bay with love. Light gets the last auto to follow Pays. As they do come away with a bit of piracy. They steal a fight, which I thought was great, honestly.
While Breathe being a fairly dominant gangplank when it was more meta, I'd love to see his win rate. I suspect it would be pretty impressive. Scout in a 1v2 will get a gold card, but the other adage of League of Legends is attack the global. And Weibo find a nice dive, and Scout just doesn't get to do very much there.
Well, JDG could have attacked the global and Breathe. They chose not to. Can Weibo show him how it's done? Kill onto Xiao, who is 3-1 and 3 quite quietly in the Akali. I thought for a little while thinking, well, you know, he's been shut down. No, I mean, he assassinated Chun in that last play. Gets a great combo with Tien there. Was one of the progenitors, really, of the Vi mid-jungle combos back in 2022 MSI. Xiao, who absolutely knows how to play around that Pays, jumping towards top side. But here are the globals.
Grand Starfall, Redemption coming on in. Still got the orange, makes himself K. Second Redemption coming on down. Breathe surviving. Turret falls, but now Pays in danger. Ruben does have the flash after the dragon fight. A heal, and they go full tilt. A punch to the face from Vi. Shun will make sure that he has nowhere to go. Summons a Herald, but cannot escape as Xiaohu nearly brings down his Shu variety and can't bring down the Jax, but brings him low and forces the flash.
JDG, they try and rent out a getaway car, but there's no driver left to take the wheel. Scout will head mid lane and take himself a turret here. 3-1 in terms of the turrets. Made 3-2 with the top lane going down.
Don't count the Riven. Not played that one in a few years. Now the Dragon getting started. Scout locking the gold card. Can JDG find the fight they need to get to Soul Point? Cannon Barrage forcing JDG to retreat.
They have the Redemption. The big ultimate of Scout is down. Weibo still have most of theirs.
Trying to get the burst angle. They've got a barrel waiting. They want to time this one well. In goes Xiaoxu, trying to find the angle. Culling, crash down, Magnus Storm on top of everyone. Shun wins the smite fight, gets the Soul Point. Cosmic Radiance buys time, but it's well timed with the cease and desist. Perfect execution allows a double kill to come across to Breathe. Looking for the dazzle back, only delays a little bit of a reset. Light looking to clumsy step on forward. Will have the ability to strut on in. Scout looking for the gold card, lands it onto Xiaohu, but can't find that much full follow. As Breathe goes to flash on forward, the trial by fire. Lucian goes down. Scout will surely follow, and they murder the team fight, even if they lose the Dragon.
JDG engage in some piracy themselves, getting the Dragon. But crime never pays. All 5 of them find themselves with a death sentence. Tien and Crisp will hope to look for objective steals and maybe the Mountain Soul later. That is what saves this game for them. Otherwise, we could be scraping silver once more. Weibo taking down the Atacon. JDG not close. Could pop the TF ult. They do have the smite from Spellbook.
Barrels potentially as an angle chunk onto Jura, down to 3,000 HP. Shun can Grand Star fall in, look to get it, and it steals another one! They fail! Another objective fight! 1-for-1 right now in the fight. Make that 2 as the Cannon Barrage comes on in Redemption. Xiaohu manages to execute another. The fights go the way of Weibo, even if the smite key from Shun keeps them in the game by their fingernails and a D key.
Gives them the extra value. Can they get the barrels on target? If the slow lands, Pays will be going down with them. A kill onto the rail, but Lucian will fall. Weibo, they might be losing the smites, but they're certainly not losing the fights afterwards. JDG, yeah, a little bit better, but the actual piracy side of this equation, but Weibo will take the golden pocket.
Violence is theirs. Smite key a little knot. Tien's going to be frustrated with that one. That's a few in a row now. They could have stolen a Dragon, taken a Dragon, bent the Atacon, and this game would have been so much easier. They're still in a good position, but JDG have just got that narrow window to potentially stop this one here.
Xiaohu, there could be a Scout TF ult coming in straight after. Light could come in. This could be difficult.
Oh, now Scout's in danger. Doesn't get too much more. Nice angle. Does get the flash off Xiaohu.
I was actually quite worried that Xiaohu would follow that back in, and Scout might be down a little bit of damage to deal with him. Teleport. Ult used. Xiaohu flash down is important. I mean, you did have the double smites coming through. There was... Yeah, I mean, so... No, smites got weird there. Not exactly sure exactly what the order of things was, but Tien smited very... Not Tien, sorry. Shun smited... hang on a second.
takes a lot of damage on the Scout before it comes on through, and now he's going to come out of it and take a lot of damage. Breed's going to take him very low, does go down. That's the Gangplank out. That's pretty good value. Over the wall comes Xiaohu, and of course Pays. They get another. That's 2 for 1 right now. Dazzle onto Tien, into the shield vault. Flash over from Tien, who does manage to get away. Can't quite get him. Pays looking for the angle. He gets out alive too. Make that 3 for 1.
How did that happen? It happened during the replay. God damn it, this is why we don't... Actually, the explosion onto all of them. Xiaoshu on the flank. Breathe will spot him out. Xiaoshu struggling to have that much impact on the Jax. Breathe has been the better top laner here in Game 4. A classic for him on the Gangplank, not seen in quite some time. Xiaoshu jumping forward to the counter-strike, claiming vision. Tien on a long flank, claiming some vision. Maybe actually looking to go towards the Twisted Fate in the mid lane. And you can try and shut down the source of the global. Baron is going down. JDG will claim themselves likely this big objective.
Destiny gates in. Breed looking for potential angle. They will surely pick up the Baron. Barrel chain comes on through. Cannon barrage. Bullet time! They murdered the Tarek, I forget the name, but they don't forget the damage. Breed goes down. Turn around by the back end of it. Xiao goes on in. Gets stunned up by the gold card. He's now in danger. Goes golden himself with the Zonya. Xiao Shu got the counter strike rolling. A triple kill to Light. Can he look for more? Gets killed by Shun with the coming spear. And he brings down another. Flash from Scout. Grand Starfall. And the stars align for JDG.
That will buy them the Mountain Soul. JDG, this time last year, were denied a ticket to Worlds by Weibo in a massive series at the end of regionals. JDG do not want that to happen again. A victory here will see them playing against Invictus Gaming for the last slot at Worlds, which was the hurdle JDG failed at in 2024. Shun, the hero of JDG. Damage onto the right people at the right time. And Breathe, we thought he might have scaled and could have just won the game by himself. Not to be. Has the Infinity Edge now, and maybe those barrels hurt a little bit more.
Xiaoshu got stunned under the turret there, but is safe enough with the counter-strike.
And I wonder now whether Breeze just instantly needs to go Serpent's Fang. I wonder if he needs to just go that right now. He doesn't have enough gold for it. That was the problem. JDG have the Mountain Salt. Could they have snatched the series victory off of a very difficult game?
Trial by fire comes in now. Xiaoshu will counter-strike it, trying to jump onto Shun, but again, the GA is making things tricky. And they are so tanky.
It's just, even with the Black Cleaver, with the scaling Gangplank, Xiaoshu now is empowered to walk up. The base is broken, and JDG, against the team which knocked them out of World's contention last year, looking to trample over their corpse and make this series their own. One last date with Destiny, with Invictus Gaming beyond this.
Now they're the ones with
bot jungle fight. The barrels aren't even getting through the shields now. The Mountain Soul, the Bastion from Draw. Weibo, this game is falling through their fingers like sand through the hands. Tien has a GA. Breathe is going towards Lord Dominic's Regards or something like a Mortal Reminder later. I just don't know whether Weibo have the damage now. They're going to jump onto him.
That's not bad, actually. They got a GA to where Tien may end up dying and does so. Xiao to the backside. The Magnus Storm is good. The bullet time not bad after, but Xiao then jumps onto the backline. Good damage. They blow up Scout, but it's turned around well. They lose 3, and JDG stand and deliver. Too many Zombies, too many GAs, too much tankiness, and the mountain rises above Weibo. They had eyes but could not see the top of Mount Tai. JDG ascend. They go forward to Weibo's year, and World's hope ends here. ASI alone will be their consolation prize.
JDG keep themselves in the game. We bid farewell to Weibo.